Hi, I am standing in the entryway of 1806 Brentridge, excuse me, in Vienna. And here is the front door. So, and there's my shoes. And so this is when you walk in the front door. You see, you get a couple steps here. And there's some space here for a coat tree or a little bench or a shoe cabinet or something like that. Right here you have a powder room. So cute, basic bathroom, kind of vintage mirror. Yeah, gold fixtures. It's cute. Here is what would be the main living area, I believe. Those windows are beautiful and huge and bring in tons of light. The ceiling is really high in here. I'm not good at guessing distances, but I don't know, maybe like 10 or 12 feet. It's really high. It makes it feel really spacious in here. You do have this corner niche here that has a light. So if you wanted to display something pretty, here is what would traditionally be the dining area, I believe, based on the chandelier. Also a very big space. Ceilings aren't quite as high as in that sunken room, but they are very high. So here we'll walk through here. This will go downstairs to the basement. This will go upstairs to the bedrooms, which we'll check out shortly. Here is the kitchen and additional dining area. This is huge. This is a huge area here. So you could put any number of things here. Extra storage, furniture, couches, I mean, whatever. This is a huge kitchen. So, and out here, and the door opens here, which is good. So your path of travel isn't blocked. These are just kind of windows. So whatever you put here won't be a path of travel outside. So that's a great layout design there. Additional little breakfast nook here. Fridge. So we'll take a closer look at these. This is just to give you the wide view here. This is a very tall ceiling. It does have some old can lights, but you know, everything else is pretty good. This fridge is cleaned. It has been cleaned. Basic fridge, freezer. This oven, this is kind of the biggest problem that I've seen in the place so far, but so that's pretty good. Just some tape on the thing there. You'd want to make sure you document that in your inspection report when you move in. Basic wall oven, nothing crazy. Oh, okay. So the cabinets are kind of sticky. They could use a good wipe down, but they're in pretty good shape. So you could, you know, there's some of the stain. They were stained a long time ago. So they're, you know, they're in use condition, but they're in pretty good shape. Everything seems to function pretty well. And inside the cabinets is fairly clean. They could use a quick vacuum and a wipe, but they're not like gross. They're just, you know, you'd probably want to wipe them out a little bit. So you have these big, tall 42-inch cabinets in here, which is nice. Lots of storage. Above the sink there, you should have a little light. Yeah, well, maybe not. I'm not sure. But yeah, pretty standard kitchen layout here. You have a downdraft cooktop in the island, so that's nice. And then I guess you have this bonus little island here that, yeah, it's not built in. It wheels, so you could wheel it somewhere else if you didn't want it right there. And then in here you have a pantry. So nice big pantry space in here. Goes all the way up to the ceiling, so you can stack, you know, Costco cereal boxes or whatever you got. But nice big pantry. All right, so these windows bring in a lot of light too. And I don't have my shoes on, so I'm not going to go outside, but you can kind of see the deck out there is pretty nice. And then this is what, you know, you'll see your neighbors. So your neighbor over there has kind of a privacy screen up, which is nice. You could add something like that. But otherwise, you get lots of light, nice deck area out there. Definitely room for a table and chairs, a grill, you know, whatever you're looking for. All right, so from here we'll go upstairs, and these are carpeted. These are original hardwoods down here. It's a nice color. They're a little bit orange, you know, for today's kind of colors, but they're not obnoxious orange. It's just like a little orange. Once you put your furniture in and some rugs down, I don't think it would be a big deal. This is likely the original carpet, but it's in pretty good shape. I don't see any stains. There's nothing gross. It could use a vacuum, but it's not gross, and some of them are gross. So I will tell you, this one is not gross. So we walk up this little mini staircase here. It does also smell like there's an air freshener in here, or maybe they've cleaned the carpets recently. There's a bit of like a smell, like a clean smell, not a smoke smell, but like a they tried to shampoo the carpets smell. So here we go is washer and dryer in this closet right here. So Nice regular doors, not bifold doors. And then here we go. So we came up the stairs. All right, here's washer and dryer. These are the 2 bedrooms, hallway bedrooms, and then the hallway bath. Here's the linen closet. So lots of space in here. It kind of goes back in the corner there. It's probably 4 feet wide, maybe 5 feet wide. Not super deep, but you don't want it to be too deep anyway, or you can't find your stuff. So it's a good linen closet for sure. Here is the hallway bathroom. So this is the one the 2 bedrooms would share. It's a basic builder grade bathroom, but it's pretty clean and everything looks fine. There was some, the towel bar was moved at one point, it looks like. So the paint in here is okay. It hasn't been painted recently. You'll see there's a lot of kind of holes. A prior tenant, had a lot of art, I think. And so the paint, it wasn't freshly painted. So not a huge deal, just something to keep in mind. Beautiful windows in here. This is a nice big room. This is probably the 2nd largest bedroom. So here we have closet, good storage space there. And then by the paint, I mean, like there's just some kind of, I don't know if you can tell, but it wasn't painted well, okay? Like if we're being honest. So it's fine, you're just borrowing it, but it wasn't painted super well. You can tell they kind of tried to repair the paint up there. So again, these are just things that you'll want to note on your move-in checklist. Just minor things. So in here, you can tell it had some sort of furniture there. This room is a little bit smaller. It's probably about the same size as the other one, minus this kind of bump out here. So it does have a slightly smaller footprint, but not tremendously. So again, nice windows, bring in lots of light. You have the ceiling registers here, and there's no overhead light in either of these 2 rooms. So one thing to keep in mind, this is probably a switch controlled outlet. So when you switch that, you'd have a lamp plugged in there. It might be that one, or it might be this one. But just one thing to keep in mind, you'll need some lighting. So here's the smaller closet here in this room. It's a different shape. It's a little bit deeper than the other one, but it's not as wide. And then over here, we'll go back down the hall to the primary bedroom, which is very large and also without an overhead light. So make sure you have some lamps. 3 beautiful windows right there overlooking your neighbors. So yeah, so it's pretty good. The blinds are in great shape. They are contemporary blinds. They're white. They're nice. They're not super dusty. They're in pretty good shape. Beautiful, huge closet here in the primary. So you could, do a cartwheel in here if you want to, or just hang out your clothes. But it's very cool, very large. Here is the primary bath. You have a French door here. So this is a ceramic tile. And here we go. So you have a standalone bath. Looks like it's some sort of jacuzzi. It does look original. So whether or not it works, I couldn't verify, but it's a good sized bathtub. You have this big walk-in shower here. And let's see, in here we have the toilet room. So, we'll flush the toilet. Sometimes when water sits for a while, it turns brown. It's not a sign of anything bad. Just hasn't been flushed in a while. Here's your vanity area. So you do have a double vanity with some drawers and some storage. Oh, okay. Well, that's maybe not a drawer, but let's see. Here we go. Oh, yep. That is not a drawer. So the sink overflows over there. So these lower ones would be drawers. Yeah, there we go. And inside you have some little shelving if you want to put the shelving in there. So very cute. Very nice. It's big in here. You definitely have room for 2 people to get ready if that was needed. We'll continue upstairs to the top level. And so again, you're going to see some marks on the paint, things like that. It was not painted that recently, and it was not painted well. Just to keep your expectations managed. Here we go. There's this little landing up here. This is kind of a carpeted rec room. Could be an office. Could be, whatever you need it for. There's some crawl space access, it looks like. Probably not for storage, but you have this cute little deck up here. Let's see. So, and a screen door. So that's nice. So you can leave it open. So this isn't too big. You could definitely have a bistro table, a couple chairs. Not a ton. You can tell the house is across the street, or maybe you can't tell, but they don't have anything up there on this deck area. So it's, I don't know, maybe 6 by 10-ish. So it's not huge, but you could definitely do something. Okay, so now we're going to go back downstairs. So this has the 2 stairs here. This carpet is the same carpet, it looks like, but it does appear to be newer. So if that matters, the carpet was replaced at some point going up the stairs. And then we will go back down the stairs here. I would say it was here. This is where there's newer carpeting. All the rest of this carpet. But again, this is not bad carpet. I don't mean it like that. It's just, you can tell it's a little bit older, but it's very squishy. It's not stained. It's not gross. It is good carpet. So here again, dining area, living area, kitchen, giant open space for whatever. And then we will go, oh, you can use your coat closet. I think I forgot to show you that. So this is a very small coat closet. But this is a coat closet. So there you go. You might need a little something over there for that, depending on how many people will be living with you. Downstairs, here we go. So, okay, they have so I changed the paint color down here. That's that line right there. No big deal. This goes back to the newer carpet, I would say. And this is a huge rec room down here. So you have some built-ins, excuse me, fireplace. There looks like there's a niche for a TV if you want to put it over the fireplace. Same big door situation here where these two are not doors. This is the door here. But you have a nice little, well, it's not currently grass because everything's dead here in the winter, but it is a nice little space for whatever. There is a fence back there with a gate to get out. You can see it right there. Okay, so here we go. A little sign that says do not block the vent, but these built-in shelves are adjustable, which is nice. You do have some overhead lighting down here, so that's good. And this has a very high ceiling, which is really cool. Here we go. There's a full bath down here. So you have the same vanity, same standard toilet. This one has a shower curtain, tile. It's a basic bathroom, but it looks like it's in good shape. It's clean. You do have a little crack in the tile there. No big deal. Just note that on your checklist. Looks pretty good. And then let's see. Here's this little closet under the stairs, kind of. So you do have a garment rack here, and then this closet here. So this isn't super huge, maybe 2 by 4. So, but you could put some totes or whatever in there. This is the garage. So, and this door locks if you wanted to lock it. I turned the lights on already. So, but you can see it's a full 2-car sized garage. That door out there walks out to the utility space. There's maybe a tiny footprint for storage in there, but it's mostly the furnace and the water heater and boring stuff like that. So here's the garage door, and that you open that and then you'll have your 2 parking spaces right on the other side. So there we go. Let me turn these off and then I'll walk you back up and out. So if you enter in from the garage, this is what you will see. You will see bathroom here, coat closet / other closet here. You have this little landing area. And then this is the lower rec room. So great little place. Actually, great big place. There you go.